Good morning students. In this video we are going to talk about the 9 most important authors from the postmodernism that are important from the perspective of NTA and GATE examination. Without any further delay, let's get into the topic. So the very first important writer is Evelyn Waugh. Please note down that there are many authors in postmodernism, but we don't know from where the questions will come from. I have brought down the list of these 9 authors from the previous year papers. Coming back to the point, the first important author is Evelyn Waugh. Evelyn Waugh has written 6 to 7 works. You can just write down the names of all these works from the Google. The 2 important works of Evelyn Waugh is A Handful of Dust, and this title is taken from the poem Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. The next work of Evelyn Waugh is Brightside Revisited. There was a question in NTA examination that what is the subtitle of Brightside Revisited? The answer was The Sacred and Profane Memories of Captain Charles Ryder. You have to read this work thoroughly, because this work talks about homosexuality, which is one of the crucial themes of postmodernism. Coming on to the next author, which is John Barth. John Barth too has written many works, but out of these works I have selected 2 works, which is Floating Opera and The Saltweed Factor. Floating Opera was a part of my syllabus when I was doing post-graduation from Indira Gandhi National Open University. I have read the actual text of this work. It took me around 8 hours to complete reading this book, Floating Opera. The book is one of the best books that I have ever read in English literature. I highly recommend you to go through this work because this work is a part of syllabus of Indira Gandhi National Open University, and generally in examinations they ask you questions from the works which are prescribed in the different universities. This work, Floating Opera, is an important work that you should not skip while preparing for your examination. Coming on to the next author, which is Vonnegut. He too has written many works, but out of all these works, The Slaughterhouse-Five is an important work. I didn't get the time to read the actual text. Moreover, it is difficult for me to read the American writers because they use a different kind of writing style, and the way they write the novels is quite different from the books written by British or Indian authors. So I always prefer reading books of British literature or Indian literature. I normally skip reading American literature just because of the difficulty of the language they use. So don't forget to make notes on Slaughterhouse-Five by Vonnegut. Coming on to the fourth most important writer, which is Graham Greene. Graham Greene too has written many works, and here I am going to list down the 4 important works by Graham Greene. There were a lot of questions from these 4 works, and I highly recommend you to read these works thoroughly. The first work is Brighton Rock, which is a story about a character named Pinky. Pinky was a 16-year-old boy who was the leader of a gang. What he did was he murders a man named Fred Hale. Another character is Spicer, who is a friend of Pinky. When Spicer was trying to hide the evidences, a waitress named Rose figured it out. So Pinky got afraid of this, and what he did was he started dating the waitress Rose and tricked her to marry him. After a few days, Pinky convinced the Rose, who is now his wife, to commit suicide. Rose, who greatly loved Pinky, agreed to commit suicide, and while she was trying to suicide, police arrived to catch Pinky. Pinky got afraid of the police, and he stumbled down off a cliff into the sea. With the death of Pinky, the novel ends. So this is an important work. There was a question from this novel in the NTA examination, so you should read the summary of this work in detail. The second work of Graham Greene, which is Power and Glory. The third important work is The Heart of the Matter. And the last 4th work, which is important, that is The End of the Affair. So these 4 works are important from the perspective of examination. So also try to read the rest of the titles written by Graham Greene. Before moving forward, I want you to pause for a moment and press the like button under this video. And also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, don't forget to subscribe it, because it will encourage me to create more such contents for you in the future. Coming back on to the 5th author, which is Philip Larkin. Every work of Philip Larkin is very much important. In the last year there was a question from Philip Larkin. In 2018 there was a question from Philip Larkin. So you should not skip this writer. Whatever information you get on Philip Larkin, read that in detail. This will help you a lot in understanding the themes of postmodernism. I'm not going to mention any such works by Philip Larkin in this video because the entire work of this author is important from the perspective of examination. Coming on to the next author, which is Harold Pinter. Harold Pinter is one of the most important writers, not only in the postmodern era, but also in the whole English literature. He has written a lot of plays, he has written a lot of screenplays. Actually, Harold Pinter started his career as an actor in a theatre. He goes on to understand the industry of theatres, and then he started writing his own plays. In the NTA examination, there was a question that arrange the following plays of Harold Pinter in a chronological sequence. He has written a lot of works, and I have made down the list of 10 to 12 plays by him. I have made a trick to remember all these plays. Before I share with you the trick to remember all these plays by Harold Pinter, Let's look onto the works of this author. The first play is The Room, the second play is The Birthday Party, the third play is The Dumb Waiter, fourth, The Slight Ace, fifth, The Hothouse, sixth, The Caretaker, seventh, Night Out, eighth, Night School, ninth, The Dwarf, 10th, The Party, 11th, The Homecoming, 12th, The Basement. Out of these 12 plays, don't forget to read The Dumb Waiter, The Birthday Party, The Room, The Caretaker and The Homecoming. You must read the summaries of all these plays thoroughly. Let's look at the trick which I have memorized to remember all these plays in a sequence. So the trick goes like this. I went inside a room where a birthday party was taking place. There I saw a waiter who is having a headache. He was also a house caretaker, and every night he goes to the school of dwarfs and party hard. After that he comes back to the home and sleep in the basement. So this is a story which I have made based on these titles. So let's repeat one more time. I went inside a room where a birthday party was taking place. There I saw a dumb waiter who is having an headache. He is also the house caretaker. Every night he goes to the school of dwarfs and party hard. After that he comes back and sleep in the basement. So this is the chronological sequence of Harold Pinter's plays. You can write down this in your notebook and can speak a couple of times to remember the trick. Coming on to the next author, which is Samuel Beckett. Waiting for Godot and Kraft's Last Tape are important works by Samuel Beckett, but you remember all the titles of Samuel Beckett's plays. He has also written novels, so you try to remember the title of all these novels and plays by Samuel Beckett. Coming to our next author, which is Luigi Pirandello. His most famous work is 6 Characters in Search of Author. This is the first title of the trilogy written by Luigi Pirandello. The second title in this trilogy is Tonight We Improvise, and the third one is Each in His Own Way. So you must remember all these 3 plays which are a part of trilogy. They may ask you in the net examination that which work out of these 3 does not belong to the trilogy of Luigi Pirandello. So the last important author is Bertolt Brecht, who is the founder of the Epic Theatre. Bertolt Brecht was a Marxist and he has written a lot of plays and Threepenny Opera, which is based on Beggar's Opera by the author John Gay. So this play is very much important. And also don't forget to read the concept of epic theatre, which was highly influenced by the Marxist theory of capitalism. In the chapter 1, volume 1 of Das Kapital, Karl Marx have talked about what is commodity, and from there the chapter 1 of Das Kapital, this concept of epic theatre came. You have to study all these things in details to get the idea of epic theatre and why Bertolt Brecht was a Marxist. So coming to the end, here we have discussed all the 9 important authors in the postmodernism. Of course, there are a lot of writers in postmodernism, but these 9 writers are most important. If you read these writers, there is a high probability that the questions may come from these 9 authors. If you have any doubt or query, you just drop down your questions in the comments below. I will be looking forward to resolve your doubts in my next video. At the end, I request you to press the like button of this video, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, don't forget to subscribe the channel. That's it for this video. Thank you.